I'm seeing things I shouldn't see. I'm dreaming things I've never seen.
You're beginning to think in images, concrete images. Hot, cold, light, dark, food, hunger, pain. I think as I always did. Words are becoming meaningless to me, except for the
Hey guys, it's Inkeater, and welcome to Vinyl Wednesday, where we talk about vinyl music and stuff. Pretty much, I've been kind of MIA the last few days, and I can only blame that on daylight savings, you evil mother effer. Pretty much, I've been falling asleep in mid-edit of my videos, and not waking up till the next morning at like 4 or 5 o'clock, realizing, ah, shit. Dang it. So yeah, that's why there hasn't been a video in a while. Daylight savings time is just really messing with my brain and my sleep schedule. Luckily, today we're powering and fighting through it, and my cat Zephyr has decided to join us. In honor of Women's History Month, I thought we'd do another one, just because I thought it was super fun to dig up some history and learn some shit. Yeah. Anyway, with no further ado, this week I thought we would talk about Janis Joplin. Most of you know Janis Joplin, the musician, and while she was not only a musician, she was also a painter, and I find this really, really fascinating about artists in the 60s and the 70s, was they didn't just focus on one piece of art, which is kind of refreshing to actually hear, because considering myself, I'm kind of all over the place in terms of what I do creatively, and it's just kind of refreshing to hear people like Joni Mitchell, who is not only a singer, she paints and she writes poetry, and she does other things besides singing, and she finds it to be therapeutic. After she writes an album, she paints for a while, and I can totally understand and relate and get behind that. I just find it fascinating that other artists in the same time frame also painted as well, such as Jimi Hendrix, and come to find Janis Joplin. Apparently Janis Joplin in high school used to do paintings. She did a painting of her sister. There was most recently, I think, within the last 2 years, there was an art gallery show done by her sister, Laura Joplin, and there's links down below for the images in case you were curious or interested. What I find really, really cool, though, is just how different each artist's style was, but you can see the similarities in certain respects. Like, for instance, Janis Joplin did a lot of sketches and little quick study drawings, it seems, like when she was in college and when she was in high school, or when she sent some letters home, she would do these little drawings. Like, there's one with her in a hat, there's another one where she sent it to a boyfriend, and it was a hairdo that she was currently sporting, and it was just really interesting and insightful into her life. While she did art in her younger years, I find it interesting that they all did art in general, and it's kind of seems to be like a product of that movement. The first band Janis Joplin was in was the Big Brother and Holding Company. I have the album Cheap Thrills. You can see the inside. The inside is probably my second favorite part. My first favorite part is actually the front cover that was done by Robert Crumb. He's probably one of my favorite cartoonists ever. I really love the stuff that he did with American Splendor. And yeah, that's this. Next album that I have by Janis Joplin happens to be her with her Cosmic Blues Band. It's right here, and it's the album I Got Them Old Cosmic Blues Again, Mama. And this is the back cover. I like how there's like puzzle pieces on the back. She has some really interesting covers. They're definitely a product of the late 60s, and I just kind of love that. And then the final album that I have would have to be Pearl with Janis Joplin and the Full Tilt Boogie Band. I really love how the name The Full Tilt Boogie Band came about. If you're curious about that, there's a Dick Cavett TV show episode that I linked down below that talks about that if you're kind of interested. So, in her lifetime, Janis Joplin only produced 4 albums, of which I only have 3. Needless to say, she lived a short life, and died sadly of a heroin overdose in a hotel room. Despite Janis Joplin's short-lived life, her legacy continues to live on between her brother and her sister. Her sister has featured her artwork in different galleries, and her brother continues to live on her legacy and signing drawings from the estate. I was actually fortunate enough to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when I was picking up a record collection in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was blown away by the fact that I got to see Janis Joplin's car. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got an interesting story behind it, in the fact that it's not the original paintwork. It's actually been restored. It was painted over by the brother and the sister, because the paint started to fleck and they didn't want it to be completely ruined. So to preserve it, I guess, they spray painted it, and then somehow they were able to actually painstakingly painted exactly to a T what it looked like back in the day. And let me just say, it was absolutely a joy and a beauty to just stare and look at. Unfortunately, though, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doesn't let you take photographs, which sucks. So I didn't get any pictures of that, but I did find some online. Moving back on to Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995. And like I said, I got to see her car. It is beautiful, and if you get a chance, definitely check it out, or you can just check out this guy's Flickr set down below. Not only was she inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Janis Joplin has influenced women through music for several years. For instance, Alicia Moore, also known as Pink, has referred to Janis Joplin as one of her idols growing up, and was also sang a song in honor of Janis Joplin. There are other artists who have been influenced by Janis Joplin, such as the Mamas and the Papas, who I believe made a song in honor of her, along with Joan Baez. It's just amazing how somebody who had such a short-lived life could sit there and influence so many other artists in her time frame and beyond that. For instance, Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine talked about Janis Joplin and how she learned about her through an anthology of female blues artists, and how she learned that Janis Joplin bridged the gap between psychedelic blues and the soul scene. And it's just insanely neat and interesting to just hear how many different ways a woman who only lived for such a short period of time influenced so many. I mean, for instance, others that knew her, such as Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks actually recalled in an interview about the first time that she met Janis Joplin just happened to be when she was with her old band called the Fritz, and she happened to be, I guess, on the side of the stage, and Janis Joplin proceeded to yell at her, and that she was yelled at by Janis Joplin, something to the effect of, "You're on the stage, get off," or something, but she couldn't. Basically, Stevie Nicks brought up that they really could not hear what was being said. Regardless, as soon as Janis Joplin took stage, Stevie Nicks commented about how Janis Joplin, despite the fact that she wasn't beautiful, she instantaneously became beautiful as soon as she started singing, and just letting it all out there, and just belting it out and letting it out. And that's basically what Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine brought up, was the fact that Janis Joplin didn't care. She let it all hang out, and there was this beauty within her. So, I made a playlist down below of a few Janis Joplin songs that I absolutely love. Most of them are her hit songs. My absolute favorite song by Janis Joplin probably would have to be Ball and Chain, just because I love Big Mama Thornton, and I absolutely see the similarities now between the two. I kind of understand now kind of more fully why I love Janis Joplin, is because she sounds kind of similar to Big Mama Thornton, who's one of my absolute favorite female blues artists, just because that woman can play a harmonica. Not only that, I just can only imagine standing next to her. I'd be like short as heck. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know down below, what's your favorite Janis Joplin song, or maybe a story or something that you'd like to include. I would really love to know. I've had a lot of fun hearing other people's stories or memories in regards to certain artists or certain albums. And as always, let me know down in the comments below, what's your favorite song that you're currently listening to? If you had to ask me right now, I'm kind of obsessed with the Double X album. If you had to ask me specifically a song, it'd probably be Crystallized, or I really like that Neighborhood Sweater Weather song. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye!
Whatever it is that you believe you're seeing, it's not real.
Seeing things before they happen. Things are not always what they seem in this place. Some You can't take anything for granted.